Hey everybody, welcome back. Mr. Smitty here, and today I'm going to be working on a new Google SketchUp for Schools Skill Builder video. Today we're going to be looking at 3D modeling a chain. So we're going to start with a chain link, and then we are going to make copies of that, and then arrays of that copy. So we're going to be using what's called components and also groups. So we've used groups a lot, so today we're going to break it down one step further, make components, and then make groups out of those components. So we're going to be using most of the tools that we use on a daily basis, but we might use them in a little bit of a different way today. So let's just go ahead and jump on over to our Google SketchUp for Schools. And I want you to go to the top and click Create New, and you're going to do feet and inches. Alright, so today I'm going to leave Temple Grandin there, and I'm going to start by saving. Remember guys, first step, always save. And I'm going to come in here, go to my SketchUp files folder, and I'm going to call this chain video because, making a video. So, like I said, we're going to leave Temple Grand in there today. We're making a chain, and I think it'll be pretty cool if we can compare, the size and scale of our chain to Temple Grandin. All right, so what I want you to do first is we're going to start with a circle. And we want to have a green circle because we want to have it snapped to the green axis. So on your keyboard, all right, this is a neat little trick. If you press left arrow, it'll snap to green. If you press up arrow, blue, right arrow, red. So again, left, up, right, 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 up, left, left, left is green. All right, so I want you to draw a green circle, but we're going to use measurements today. So I want it to be 1 inch. So I want you to type 1, enter. All right, so we've got this little bitty chain link here that we're starting. All right, so this is a radius of 1, so diameter of 2. All right, so one thing, guys, as we're working, we're going to reference the entity info a few times to check the amount of segments. So if you click on the ring on the outside of the circle here, and you go over here to the top and click, you will see that our circle is made up of 24 segments. Well, for a chain link, that is a lot of segments. All right, we want it to look more like an octagon than we do a circle. So I'm going to change this from 24 to 8. All right, so this is an octagon. All right, our next step, I'm going to go ahead and hide our entity info. But for our next step, we're going to take our line tool, and we're going to come down and find the center. So I just drew a line down to the center, and now I want to draw a line out this way. All right, so mine's already snapped to the green axis, but if yours is kind of going all over the place, if you press left arrow key, it'll snap to the green axis. So let's go ahead on our keyboard and type 2, enter. So that way we'll draw a 2-inch line. Now we're going to draw a red line. Again, to snap to the red, I'm going to click right arrow key, then type 4, enter. So I drew a 4-inch line. Then I'm going to click and come back down, and I'm going to type 2, enter. All right, before I do that though, I'm going to click left arrow, snap to the green line, and then 2, enter. And now I have the beginning of my geometry for my chain link. So now I'm going to click on this line and click delete. Let's go ahead and get rid of that because we're not going to need that one. So we have the kind of box shape for our link, but we need to, it's got that curved edge. So I'm going to grab my arc tool. I'm going to press A on the keyboard to get the arc tool. Then I'm going to click here, come down to here, and pull out, and just click. All right, so again, we're going to use entity info. So I'm going to click on that arc, come over here, and I see that it's made up of 12 segments. Again, for a chain links are kind of bulky, right? They're not that defined. So I'm going to change this to 4. All right, so I'm going to change the segments to 4. So now I have this nice kind of blocky geometry for my chain. I'm going to come in here and delete this line. And now I've got half of the geometry for my chain link. That's it's pretty exciting. All right, so let's make the other half. All right, so I'm going to triple click to highlight that in blue. I'm going to come over here and grab my rotate tool, or Q. Q on the keyboard is the shortcut for rotate. And I know I'm going to want to rotate right here on this point. but I want to rotate on the red axis. So I need to press the right arrow key to get my rotate tool to switch to the red axis. Alright, so just a little review. If you press up, you get blue, left is green, right arrow key gives you red. Alright, so now what we are going to do is make a copy rotate. So I'm going to press Control on the keyboard to signify copy. Then I'm going to click, come off to the right to this point and click, and then it's going to allow me to copy rotate and then click. Alright, so now I've got the full geometry for that link. I'm going to do that step one more time just because it's a lot of clicks there. So triple click, so it's highlighted blue, Q on the keyboard to get my rotate tool. I need this to be a red axis rotate, so I press the right arrow to get the red. Then I press Control on my keyboard to make a copy. Then I click, I come off to the right to the next endpoint and I click, and then a full 180 degrees and click again. So now I have the full chain link geometry, and we're gonna do a follow me. You know, y'all, we've done so many follow me's. Y'all know what this looks like. All right, it's time for that follow me tool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and triple click the geometry so it's all blue. I'm gonna grab the follow me tool and I'm gonna click. All right, so it'll follow the geometry, and I've created this chain. You'll notice that it's the gray color, which means we're seeing like the inside of the chain. So if you right click and reverse faces, it'll switch and we'll get the white color. So now we're seeing the outside of the model. Alright, so basically the way we designed it, we ended up seeing the inside surface, but we want to see the outside. That's why it's white. So you just reverse face. Alright, so we got our first chain link. Alright, so y'all know how chains work, right? You got a chain, then the other one comes in and it's latched in this way. So now we need to do that. Alright, so before we do that, I'm going to before we do that, I want to make it a component. Alright, because we're going to make copies of this. So we're going to make component and then make copies of our component to create a group. So what I want you to do is triple click, right click, and make component. Alright, so component's kind of the smaller version of a group. Alright, so you have components, and then components make up a group. So I'm just going to call this link. Alright, so again, I'll do that one more time. Triple click, right click, make component, and call it a link. Alright, so we have our link, but now we need to make a copy. So I'm going to come over here to the display tool on the right, the little eyeglasses, and I'm going to turn on hidden geometry. So what that's going to show me is the curved surfaces, or the curved geometry of my link, and it's going to give me a few extra points that I can click on and do things with. So this is going to be important once we do a copy rotate. So I want you to rotate so you can see the front of this, and then press Q on your keyboard so that way you can get your rotate tool, and we're going to rotate on the green axis. So left arrow key to double check you're on the green axis, then Control because we're going to want to make a copy, then click the center, come all the way out to here, alright, so that we're on the red axis with our rotation, and then click and come a full 90 degrees so that we have created a copy of that link. Alright, so we made it a component. We did a copy rotate to get a second link, but y'all have seen chains. They don't look like this, so we need to move it. Alright, so I'm going to press M on my keyboard to get my move tool. I'm going to grab this far left endpoint here. I am going to click and start moving in the green direction, but then type 5.5 on my keyboard. Alright, and I did the math for you. That'll get you a nice little alignment here if we do that 5.5. Alright, so let's do a quick save. I don't want to lose nothing. Quick save. So now we have chain link 1, chain link 2. Alright, Who's ever seen a chain with just 2 links? I've never seen it. So we need to make an array copy of this. So I'm going to drag click to highlight both. We can go ahead and close our entity info now. And then I'm going to grab the move tool or press M on my keyboard. I'm going to press the control key to make a copy. I'm going to grab that same point and move along the green axis, but this time I have to move it 2 chain links. Alright, so remember, see, I'm struggling to find my green axis here. If I press the left arrow key, it'll snap to it. Alright, we're moving 2 chain links over. So 1 chain link was 5.5. 5.5 times 2 is 11. So I'm going to type in 11 and enter. Alright, so don't touch anything on your keyboard because we're going to make an array. So now I'm going to type x9, enter, and it's going to make 9 more copies so that I have 20 total links in my chain. Cool, right? Not too bad. But here's the thing. That's a big looking chain compared to Temple Grandin. So I want to show you guys how you can actually scale this down. So to do that, let's make a group and then we'll make a copy. So I want you to drag click, drag click your chain. Hold on, I'm going to have to do it like this because I don't want to grab Temple. Alright, so that the whole thing is highlighted. Then right click and make group. Alright, so we have a group now. We're going to grab our move tool, so press M on the keyboard, and then we're going to, I forgot to copy. So again, click it, it's a group, move tool, press control to make a copy, and click and just pull off and make a copy right next to it. Alright, so there's multiple ways to scale this, guys. You can go and grab your scale tool. So we can go inside the move, nested inside the move is the scale tool, and we can click and drag. That's one way to do it. But since we're using components and groups, let's look at another way. Alright, so you can actually go in here and double click your group, and now we have all the components inside the group, and then I can double click on the first link, which is the first component, and let's just do a quick resize. So one way you can resize is if you go in here, and I'm going to find the midpoint and draw a vertical blue line. Then I'm going to go to this side, find the midpoint, draw a vertical blue line, and then I am going to I need to connect these two. There we go. Oh, that was not a good connection, was it? There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to erase that little extra up top. So if I take my tape measure tool here, and I measure this, it tells me it's 2 inches, which is what we wanted, right? At the beginning we did a 1 inch radius. Well, if I measure it and then type 1.25, it'll ask me if I want to resize the whole component. And if I click OK, check out what it does. It actually resizes all of them. It's kind of wild. Alright, but it even resized it even changed our original. Alright, so let me show you how to avoid that. Let's Control Z. I'm going to Control Z these lines away. Alright, so now I have my 2 chains, right? Remember, this was the original. This is a copy. If I right click the copy, actually, hold on. There we go. There's our copy. Okay, so I'm going to back all the way up to this point. I'm going to use the move tool again and press Control to make a copy of it. Now if I click on that, okay, if I click on this and then I highlight all the components, I can right click and say make unique. Alright, so I can't right click a group and make a group unique, but if I double click on a group and highlight all the components in a group, I can right click and make unique. So these are no longer tied to these. Alright, these components are different than those components. Alright, so that's important because now I can go in here and I can double click on this one and I can do what we just did earlier, find that midpoint. That's not actually a good midpoint. There we go. Alright, find that midpoint, go over here, find this midpoint, make sure it's a blue line, connect those two. I'm going to erase that little extra. Now if I use my tape measure tool, I can click left or right, type 1.25 enter, and it'll resize just the one chain and not both chains. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I just wanted to demonstrate how to 3D model a chain, and then I also wanted to show you how to create unique copies instead of making a copy that when you edit one, it edits the original. So that kind of wraps up everything I wanted to cover today. So I hope you learned something new. We are going to be moving on and doing a few more things with Google SketchUp. We're actually going to start looking more at the mechanical side and using blueprint drawings to make or to actually 3D model different parts. So as always, if you wouldn't mind stopping by and follow me on Instagram, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and also dropping a follow on Twitter, it is greatly appreciated. So I hope you've learned something, and I will see you next time.